All right, welcome back, guys. Today I'm going to be running you through my entire calisthenics workout, showing you everything that I do, why I do it, why it works, how it's getting me to my goals. I just finished up with my warm-up, so we're going to be jumping into our first section of the workout, which is going to be planche focused. The way I've been doing this recently with the coach I've been working with is working on planche first because that's the priority, and then doing some bent arm strength work with handstand push-ups, 90-degree push-ups, then jumping into some front lever work right at the end just to work on my pulling skills like front lever. So yeah, let's jump straight into it. Feels like it's been a while since I posted one of these because last time I posted a guide showing you what I do for my workouts was a few weeks back. And since then, I feel like I have made a lot of progress. Specifically my planche, right now the progression that I'm at is an advanced tuck. So I am working up to building that up to a 10-second hold. Right now, it kind of stays along the 5 to 6, maybe even 7-second mark. So we're working on building that up. But we're going to jump into our first set right now. And I've been using chalk recently too. My coach told me that chalk will help with my grip, which it does. I just haven't really used it for planche recently. So I'm starting to do that now. Just a little bit of chalk, liquid chalk. Rub it into your hands. This stuff is crazy. And just like that, chalk on your hands. I don't know what this stuff is, but it smells good. Like it smells like a drink, like Fanta almost, like a sparkling drink that I used to have when I was younger. So it's kind of weird smelling on my hands now, but I don't know if that's a good or bad sign. And then key things that I'm thinking about is looking forwards with my head. It's something that I haven't been doing, but guiding my planche with my head, not like leaning my head out too far, but just guiding it. It kind of sounds confusing, but it's important. It's something I wasn't doing. My coach pointed out. And then, as always, thinking about pressing up tall, pressing for proper protraction, and then even more important, my grip right here before I jump into it. And then we follow that with a supinated planche lean. It's currently almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon as I'm training right now. Usually I train in the mornings, and the bad thing about training out of schedule is it does affect your body. Like your body gets used to training during a certain time, and so when you switch up your schedule, I at least tend to notice a change in my performance. And I'm not sure if that just has something to do with like the time of day, but also something to do with like the recovery. You know, if like you train at 8 a.m. every single day, that's a full 24 hours, you know, right back to 8 a.m. And so if you end up training earlier, then, you know, your recovery isn't the full 100%. And then if you end up training later, you have maybe more recovery, but then the day following that, you aren't going to be as recovered. So it definitely plays into it. All right, that's the second set. Something I actually wanted to update you guys on. In my last video where I went to my public gym and I trained there, I talked about this pain that I was kind of feeling in my forearm, on my left side specifically, like the bone area, which is like a common thing to have. And the pain is like very close to kind of actually fully going away. So I wanted to help some of you guys that also might be experiencing that. A big reason why you're going to experience pain there that I learned from my coach and just personal experience too is that it's normal, first of all, and it's coming because you're putting your body in a position that you're not supposed to be in. You're not supposed to, but it's not used to being in. And so as a result of that, all that continuous stress makes you feel pain, and because your body hasn't adapted to that style of training. Now, the good thing is that sort of pain shouldn't last forever. Like it shouldn't be something that you experience your whole journey, because at a certain point, the goal is to hopefully have your body adapt to that planche training, and basically now your forearm is used to it, and because it's used to it, you don't feel pain anymore. It's the same thing like, you know, when your wrists feel sore when you first start doing handstands, but now they don't feel sore anymore because you've gotten used to it. Same thing. And so people will say, loosen your grip on the parallettes because that will, help the tenderness, which it does right at the beginning, but it's not worth it because when you loosen your grip, you have a weaker planche hold because the stronger the grip, the more power and control you actually have in your planche. So you don't want to loosen your grip. That doesn't help you in the long run. What you want to do is you want to give yourself time. Know that it's going to take time for your body to get accustomed to it. And so if you need to rest some days, that's totally fine. If you need to go less intense, some days that's also great. But another thing you can do is simply just work on strengthening and conditioning it. And you can do that through doing like wrist curls. I do it with bands. I use a band and I'll curl up, I'll curl on top, and then even neutral too. But doing all sorts of curls strengthens this muscle as a whole, which helps it adapt faster, as well as just really being intentional with your stretching, your wrist stretches, all that sort of stuff to strengthen this area of your arm. All that together will help you. And there's other things you can do, like when you're warming up, you can kind of like do these leans where you kind of get your wrist in this position before. All it comes down to is simply getting your body very well prepped before you jump into your planche. And so if you prep well and strengthen, give yourself enough time, rest when needed, you will get over it. And for me, I was experiencing it heavy, and as of recently, I'm not really feeling it too bad anymore, which is great. So at this point, you can probably imagine I'm pretty tired. 3 sets of planche plus supinated leans. But to finish off this section of the workout, there's 3 sections. So this is part 1. We're going to do the 90-degree push-ups followed with handstand push-ups. So during my actual training, I'll probably only get like 1 90-degree push-up, 1 handstand push-up, maybe 1 or 2 more. But it's because I'm actually really fatigued. I get more of the reps and endurance-based work. Like say if I'm like doing it throughout the day for fun, then I can rep out more. But we're gonna jump straight into 90 degrees. I sold the handstand. You know what's kind of funny? I went to the doctor today, and my doctor told me that I was overweight, but not with fat, with muscle. I just thought that was funny. I was like, wow, the amount of muscle I have puts me on the scale to a similar level as an overweight person, but not with fat. And so, yeah, sure, you might say calisthenics skills would be harder for me, but if I'm able to do these, I'm 5'10", if I'm able to do these weighing 180 pounds, then anyone can, bro. People come up with all the excuses in the world why they can't do it for their own reasons. But what are you going to choose in life? You're going to choose to be like, look at all the reasons why you can't do something, or look at all the reasons why it might be possible and make it happen, you know? So the mistake that I'm making, and I know I'm making it, is I'm not engaging my core. I'll bring myself down, proper protraction, good engagement, bang, and I lose it all. Back arched, core disengaged. And it happens as you get tired because it's difficult to keep your core engaged, and your body's smart. So it tries to move in whatever position it can just to get yourself up, which often leads to bad form. So it is what it is, but we're going to go for handstand push-ups now. And I posted on my story on Instagram. If you don't follow my Instagram yet, I'll pop it up here for you guys to see, but go give it a follow. But I popped up on my story today that I'm going to answer questions from my followers just in my rest times. And one of the questions that was asked was, when did you start making content? Like when you learned a couple of skills or complete beginner? So this is a good question. I've been posting content for a really long time, actually. I think the first video I ever posted onto social media was 4 years ago when I was 14 or 15 years old. And at the time, I was not even posting calisthenics content. I was posting like motivational content, like trying to be some motivational speaker or something. After that ended, I started posting gym content because I started lifting. And so I was posting content based on like my workouts in the gym and I slowly kind of transitioned back to calisthenics, so I started posting calisthenics content. But I've officially been posting on social media, I guess you could say, for 4 years. It's been very on and off during those 4 years, and I would say I only really started taking it seriously in September of 2025. That's when I started posting twice a day, every single day, on my Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, and that's when I saw the most growth. Once I started doing that, I went from 200 followers to 10,000 followers in 4 months, and then right now I'm at 17, almost 18,000 followers. I mean, if you scroll back on my page on Instagram or TikTok or even YouTube Shorts, you'll see the stages that I went through: motivational, gym, and then calisthenics. And then we got another question. It's asking, what are the best tips and advice for handstand push-up technique and clapping handstand push-ups? So what I'll say is, a clapping handstand push-up there's nothing really special about it. It's simply just an explosive handstand push-up. So if you can do a handstand push-up, give it enough time with more and more reps, you'll be able to do clapping. It's as simple as just explode, clap, land, right? And you'll get that as you get the hang of it. But for a handstand push-up, you're going to build that up with pike push-ups and then go into doing a bent arm press to handstand and then handstand push-up negatives. And the most important technique is having proper protraction. This is the problem I made. Most people would just bring themselves down like this. You want to really think about pushing your shoulders forwards and keeping that protraction in your handstand push-up. That's the most important thing that I would say. And then obviously it's not a straight up and down movement. You are bringing yourself in front and then back. But if you follow the progressions and you build that strength in your shoulders and you practice it enough, you will get there. Another tip is to record all your sets. By recording, you get to actually visually see the mistakes and good things that you're doing. And then obviously if you're really serious and you've been training for a while and you still can't seem to figure it out and you really want it, the next step would be to hire a coach. So that's what I did. I've hired calisthenics coaches. I coach people calisthenics. The way to get in contact with that would be to DM me the word elevate on my Instagram, or there will be a link in the description for you to book a one-on-one call, and then my team would be able to get back to you and see where you're kind of at with your calisthenics journey and how we can kind of help you get to a further level. And because it's technically easier on these P-bars, I try to practice my walk, walking the airwalk down. I can get it sometimes, but I'm just having trouble overall learning this airwalk. It's just a weird thing to learn. I don't know what I was doing there. Just lost it. So that's the first section done. Next section is more, again, planche focus. So we're going to be doing presses and then straddle planche attempts with a band. I don't know how many of you guys actually really like watching my content. I kind of post this so that you guys can get insight more about how I train and more of just kind of who I am. But if you do want to connect with me more on a personal level, the best way to do that is through Instagram. I try to reply to everyone that comments on these YouTube videos, but on Instagram you can simply just hit me up in the DMs, and if I see my message, I will probably text you back. But it's where you get more insights more onto what's actually happening in my day-to-day life through my posts and my stories. But the biggest thing that's happening is I'm actually moving out. So this is my parents' place, and I'm going to be moving not too far, just 30 minutes away from home, into a house near the college that I'm going to. But I'm not going to be having the space anymore to train. So this place has been awesome. I got the nice view with the lake. I got the perfect setup right here with the pull-up bar, the bands, camera. So I'm going to have to relocate a lot of this stuff to the new house. And I think there are a couple places where I can train there, but if it ends up not really working too well, I'm going to have to then go to the gym. So a lot of my workouts coming up in the future in the next few weeks aren't going to be here anymore because I'm not going to be living here anymore. So that'll be cool. I'll document the whole journey of moving out, my new space, and you'll see where I work out in the future as I post more content. We have at least 3 presses in me, hopefully 4, but I'm not going to settle for 2. For a second there, I thought I actually might only be able to get 2. That third one felt a lot heavier. All right, you're not gonna believe this. It's actually kind of funny. I was just setting myself up for my next set of presses, and over the past couple of days, I felt this blister on my pinky finger right here. And I had no idea where it came from or how it got there. It almost felt like a callus was forming. It's the most awkward part of my pinky too. It makes no sense why it would be there. And as I was setting myself up and wrapping my fingers around the bar, I realized that the way I grabbed the bar makes it so that I actually pinch that part of my skin with my other fingers on accident without me even knowing. And that's where that blister came from. Because I was gripping this parallel too strongly and I was pressing into my skin. It's actually so funny. I didn't even realize I was doing that. Now we're moving on to planche. Straddle planche on this bar right here. So same thing with the setup, but something that I'm going to be doing differently in these sets is for this resistance band, I'm going to use a slightly heavier band. That way I can hold it for longer, because my prior attempts have all been like 3 seconds, which is not long enough. So now I'm going to be using this red band with this blue band too. I'm still struggling figuring this out. It feels difficult still. So we're going to jump into front lever presses now. This is the final and last part of my workout. We're going to do front lever presses, front lever holds, and then front lever pull-ups. So the thing that's new about these is instead of lowering myself all the way back down to a full front lever position, after my first press, I'm going to lower myself down only as far as I can then know that I'm able to press back up. So if I lower myself to a place where I know I'm going to have to use bad form to get back up, that will let me know that I went too far. So you guys will see what I'm talking about in a second, but this is our first set. That set felt really heavy for some reason. I got 1 press and then 2 sub presses after it. I don't know what my form was looking like. I'm gonna have to look at the footage. But you'll notice that I didn't bring myself all the way down until that last drop. All right, and then for full front lever, we're using a light band just to get ourselves adapted to the movement. The goal is to get this built up to 8 seconds, and then once we do that, no band, or if I even have a lighter one, lighter band. We're gonna hope to get this for 3 seconds today. Yeah, I know that form is atrocious. Sorry. All right, so if you made it this far, it's the end of the video. I just finished my workout. I am so tired, so I'm going to cool down with just some light breathing and hydrate when I go back inside, and then take a shower just to relax and kind of bring my back to normal states. But I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you haven't already, subscribe. If you're looking to look at working with me personally one-on-one, then there will also be a link in the description for you to book a one-on-one call. But thank you guys all for watching. I will see you in the next one. And until that, peace.